Hey besties, welcome to another Teach Me Tuesday. So today I'm just going to do a little bit of textual analysis for English language. I feel like English language sometimes gets a little bit forgotten. So I'm just going to say to you, hey noob, that's so poggers. Okay, now I'm assuming, as most of the people who listen to my TikToks are A-level students and therefore in their teen years, you are going to understand that term perfectly. In fact, you're going to use it all the time. So, hey noob, that's so poggers. Now, according to the Daily Mail, this is the style of language that you guys use. So we're going to look at a little bit of textual analysis because this is one of their headlines that they used last month, actually, so pretty recently. So their headline read, hey noob, that's so poggers, exclamation mark, teen slang decoded for the rest of us. So we're going to take a look at what it's doing there, how it is relating to its audience, how it's positioning its audience, how it's positioning teen language, and those links that we can make a little bit with kind of some of the earlier analysis stuff, thinking about our language levels. So obviously it's picked some quite niche, obscure examples of teen language to suggest that you guys are using this all the time, that young people constantly are communicating in this nonsensical way. As we know with the Daily Mail, it does have a particular readership, and they don't seem to acknowledge the fact that young people are masters of code switching. So their view is that in some ways, we need to be working all the time to engage with that discourse of us and them, basically. So the idea that teens and older generation sound completely different to one another all the time. So we have that phrase, hey noob, that's so poggers, I don't want to say it for the fourth time. And then it says the words teen slang decoded for the rest of us. And we need to think about the use of the verb decoded there, because it does suggest that teen language needs to be translated in some way. So that verb is working very hard to position the listener or position the text receiver to agree and align with the views of the Daily Mail. And then it uses that collective pronoun for the rest of us, suggesting that the readers of the Daily Mail are of a particular ilk and that they need to be taught how to communicate effectively with their nonsensical teens who are now speaking in a language so far removed from standard English that we need a translation, and the Daily Mail is here to help you. So that fits in really nicely with AO3. It helps us to understand contextually what's going on. It then starts the second line with fear not, which I thought was quite an interesting turn of phrase there. It's quite archaic, that kind of, it's supposed to be reassuring, but I think the use of the archaic verb fear not, or the archaic phrasal verb fear not, suggests that the Daily Mail is going to rescue you. It's going to take you back to this kind of traditional language. It's going to help you to understand your teen better. So it likes to engage in this kind of scaremongering a little bit like a self-fulfilling prophecy, that the only reason you can't understand your teens is because you don't speak their lingo. It's got nothing to do with the fact that perhaps your teens don't want you to understand them. So they're not quite getting to grips with that kind of idea of discourse community. And then it says something like, you'll finally be able to understand your teen. So suggesting there that teens are a homogenous group, that they all sound the same, that, you know, one teen is the same as any other teen. It doesn't really matter. They're just teens, and we need to work hard so that we can understand the precious little babies, because they're using this very silly language that I'm sure they'll grow out of. And then it uses the adverb as well, finally be able to understand your teen. You've been working so hard, mum and dad, trying to understand them, and they keep using ridiculous terms like noob and poggers. So it's a really interesting concept. It works really well for meanings and representation, and looking at the language levels, thinking about, you know, why that lexical choice? Why is it there? Pragmatically, what is it conveying to the reader? And how can we link that to context? What are the audience expectations? What do Daily Mail readers expect? And how does an article like this fulfill that criteria? So I hope that helps a little bit. See you next time.